Hey, I'm here. Hopefully I didn't miss too much of the stream there, but yeah, I am here. Welcome to Election Day in the U.S. Hopefully I didn't miss too much of the stream there, but yeah, I am here. Welcome to Election Day in the U.S. Hopefully I didn't miss too much of the stream there, but yeah, I am here. Welcome to. Is one of these? I think one of these is making noise here. I don't know which one. I have something echoing in my. Is one of these? Maybe not. I thought I heard something. Noise here. I don't know which one. I do. Where's it coming from? Oh well, as long as nobody else hears the echo, that's fine. I thought I heard something. I do. Where's it coming from? Oh well, as long as nobody else hears the echo, that's fine. I don't know where it's coming from. I do. Where's it coming from? Oh well, as long as nobody else hears the echo, that's fine. I don't know where it's coming from. Oh, that's muted. Sorry, something is not muted on my screen. I hear myself, but there's like a delay when I hear myself, and that is. That's muted. I mean, sorry, something you all experience hearing me in general. It's annoying enough. There, I think that might have been it. Yeah. Testing. We were such amazing little testers. Muted all the windows on my desktop. Okay, now let's see. Is anybody here? I don't even know if anybody's here. Oh, there are people here. Welcome. Is the audio loop gone now? I hope. I think I found it. And thank you. I appreciate that, Bjorn. I appreciate letting me know that. Oh, and Lydia, hello. Good morning. It's gone. Good. All right. So, I did make fresh coffee, and I see a cat hair. It has floated into it. But you know what? I'm going to drink the coffee anyway, because I probably inhale 50 cat hairs a day. All right. So hopefully everybody is having a lovely day. I did not sleep last night just because of it being election day, and it's also the end of a pay period today for me. But I am planning on just putting my head down and staying at my recording desk and working all day long to avoid exposure to the news cycle before sometime this evening. That's my plan anyway. So yeah, I hope everybody else is doing well. Lydia, if you're up this, wait, it's, Lydia, are you working? No, because if you were working, you would have been there an hour ago. See, some of the clocks in our house are still wrong. And so I have to like think through like, okay, is this really the time or is it really a different time? But no. 7 a.m. So Lydia must be at home. LG Powers being my daughter, Lydia. Let's see, what else is going on? I have fresh coffee, so that's a good way to start the day. I don't know, what did I even put in the... Oops, stop, close. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to talk about that isn't election related. And I don't really want to talk about the election. There'll be enough of that this evening when the results start coming in. So, let's see. I did. If you're a subscriber to my newsletter, you saw that I got to build Donna a. It's a shelf that she kind of dreamt up using ladders as the two sides, and so I had to make a couple ladders and then make the shelving. And there's a picture of like what I thought was the completed shelf, and then a picture of it in situ in the at the bookstore, and it turned into like a Christmas tree display, which was kind of cool. So anyway, I really actually enjoyed building that. I don't get to use like hardware very often, but I really enjoy woodworking. And if I ever get a garage here at the house, I'm hoping a large portion of it will be kind of dedicated to a workshop area where I can have like permanently mounted saws. Like when I cut the boards for the shelving units and like the ladders, I was in my shed, which is just a shed with a chop saw like balanced on precariously on like a sawhorse and a couple boards leaning up against it, and it was not terribly safe. But I don't have a garage, and I mean, it was raining, so I couldn't do it outside either. But I mean, it worked. But the thought of having an actual like workshop where I could like set up my table saw and have it like accessible, because I even have a table saw, but I rarely use it because I don't have anywhere to store it here in town. It's at the farm still. And driving out to the farm just to use a table saw, I've done that a couple times, but that was a big commitment. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it turned out, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. And yeah, she did a great job decorating it at the bookstore as well. So. Apart from that, the other thing that I mentioned, so the angle for the newsletter issue was that, I mean, I've been saying for years, my catchphrase is learn everything, do what you love, and most importantly, be kind. That middle one is tricky. Not just like finding the time or the availability to do what you love, but figuring out what it is that you love to do is challenging. And I've been trying to consciously like pay attention to what things really bring me joy. And the surprise was how much I enjoyed building stuff. And I haven't gotten to build stuff in quite some time, because I used to fabricate stuff all the time when Donna was a drama teacher, making props and sets and all that stuff for the plays. But the past few years, I haven't had that opportunity. So it was really refreshing to be able to build something that she just kind of dreamt up, and I got to make it a reality. And the other thing, I mean, you don't even have to read the newsletter now, but the other thing, my friend Ben used to be a coworker at CBT Nuggets. Now he's just a friend. He works for a bank. He's like the lead in a development team. Anyway, he just out of the blue called me in the middle of the day and had a question, just a random Linux related question. They were writing some software, and somehow they were doing Linux scripting as part of their development process, and they needed to have the program they were writing, the script they were writing, output to the screen so they could see the output, but also output to a file for like looking at later. And he called me and said, how would you do that? And the answer is there's a program called TEE that does exactly that. And he's like, cool, thanks. And later on when I talked to him, he's like, oh, you saved us so much time. We were working a shameful amount of time trying to figure out how to accomplish it. And I actually thank him for calling me, because I really enjoy helping people. It turns out that, I mean, that's just something about helping other people just really brings me joy. And so I thanked him for giving me a call, because it kind of made my whole day. And he said, yeah, I knew that you wouldn't mind the call and you would appreciate, being able to help, which I thought was rather insightful about me, that I didn't even necessarily have that insight. He said, and also I got to look really cool for knowing somebody who could answer the question that we had been pondering on for like hours in like 3 seconds. So, so yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, I missed out. Is the building stuff or the helping giving part? I mean, both. That was the, yeah, I enjoyed both of those things, and I think part of the building is I think the building was actually two parts, right? Like the actual physical building of stuff, making just imagined things become a reality is just fun, and I really enjoy woodworking. But the other was yeah, helping Donna realize the the thing that she'd hoped that she could have for doing a display at the bookstore. So yeah, I don't know. It was a win-win-win situation. So oh, speaking of situations, it is now raining really hard according to my weather my weather app. I mean, I guess I'd rather it be raining right now than snowing. I'm not quite ready for there to be a lot of snow. There's still a lot of stuff at the farm that needs to be hauled out, and the farm still has not sold. We haven't even gotten an official offer on the farm, which bums me out because it's been like a week and a half now. But I mean, it'll eventually sell. It'll eventually sell. I didn't want to have to worry about plowing the driveway out there and stuff for the wintertime, but I need to make sure I have a plan for that because it's probably gonna be the case. And I should sooner than later get all the stuff hauled out of there because once snow really falls, it's a lot less fun to haul stuff. Just in general. So yeah, I got to work on that more. I was hoping that the farm would sell, so I'd have like this. I got to get stuff out of there. No, but so far that hasn't happened. So it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm trying to think anything else interesting that's going on. I am putting my head down and working all day, like I said, to avoid the news cycles. But specifically, I'm teaching on a Google Cloud Run, which is, it's funny, they abstract away the containerization clustering stuff. Now, I'm almost certain that behind the scenes they're running a Kubernetes cluster, but as the end user, you don't know that. You just deploy containers and then they scale up and down. It's kind of cool. I think I understand it enough to do a decent job teaching it. Cloud Functions, a little bit more complex because they aren't actually containers. It actually deploys little snippets of code and then it actually builds a container to run your code. But nonetheless, it's that's going to be a little more challenging to teach, but I think I'll still be able to teach it. And then the real challenge that I'm going to have today is I have to demonstrate and show and explain how you can use Google Cloud Functions, which is just that executing the code that you write, have that interact with various triggers in the Google Cloud, like a pub sub connection or a file system monitoring, have that trigger a cloud function to take place. That one's going to be tough because that one is really, that's just code. And I'm hoping that I can find some sample code somewhere because it's not the kind of code that I know how to properly write. So wish me luck today. The stuff that I'm working on will get progressively more difficult as the day goes on, but it should keep me busy though. That's important. So anyway, yep. And election results won't actually. The polls don't close on the East Coast until like 7 or 8 o'clock ish, depending on what state, and so that's when they can start counting. So it's usually like 8 or 9, and then we start getting results from the states that are not close. You know, there's some states that are going to go one direction, like New York will go for the Democratic Party no matter. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's not even going to be close. And there's in the things like Tennessee and Kentucky will go to the Republican Party, like it won't even be close. And so those will roll in early, but the contentious states that will determine the election we probably won't hear until well after midnight, sadly. So there's no rush for me to like zone into the election stuff, but I need to keep myself busy. Donna's lucky. She actually has a 10-hour workday. She isn't done at work until 7:30 p.m. So you know she will have a very easy time avoiding the news cycle because she won't be allowed to, even if she wanted to. Me, I work at home. I'm easily distracted as anyway, and yeah, daily today, it's good that I have a ton of work that I can just focus on, and I really need to focus on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I have been up. I'll be honest, I've been up all night. So if I seem particularly awake for this early live stream, that is why. This is my first coffee, though. I thought maybe I'll fall asleep, and so I don't want to like drink coffee or caffeine. But about 6 o'clock, I'm like, no, yeah, I give up. I'm up for the day. Oh, okay. I will do. Oh man. So, I mean, I don't want to give away usernames, but I have so many messages that are unread. I'm really bad about Discord. Of all the platforms that I communicate on, I am the worst looking at Discord, and that makes me sad. So, yeah, if I get to a point where I need a break, maybe instead of looking at the news, I will look at the at Discord. Also, it annoys me. Gosh, years ago, I used Ko-Fi or Coffee, the ko-fi.com. That was like the platform that I used for, memberships. I never really pushed memberships there, but it was like an alternative to Patreon, and that's what I was using at first. And like to get their gold membership, which allowed you to sell things. I think at first I was selling stuff on the platform there, like merch. You have to pay like $74, I think it is, a year. Is that what it is? I can tell you, because the thing that annoys me is it was an automatic billing. I haven't used it at all, and yes, $72. Just I paid it for another year, so now I have to go in and cancel it so it doesn't happen again next year. But as it is now, I have a full year of Ko-Fi or Coffee or whatever it's called. I don't know. Maybe I'll look. Maybe there's new features that would be beneficial. But anyway, news, but not election related. All right. Let's see. There we go. Ooh. CompTIA brand and products have been acquired? Whoa. By a private equity firm. Wow. So all of CompTIA. So this is news. Anybody who is in a nerdy way that might be watching. Bjorn or Iken Artig sent me an article actually by Tom Lawrence, who is another Michigander who has a YouTube channel and does networking stuff. He wrote an article on LinkedIn that CompTIA has been acquired by a private equity firm. That is, were they just an independent company before, I guess? I don't know. It's sad that they were purchased maybe by a private equity firm that will just care less about the quality and the cleanness, the lack of vendor favoritism. I don't know. There's a lot of greatness in the CompTIA way of doing stuff. So I don't know. And to answer your question, is it even worth it for Linux Plus anymore? Man, I don't know. The same that bought Sophos. Oh, okay. Huh. I don't know. Are they actively controlling? I didn't read the article that Tom wrote here, but is the equity firm like actively controlling the company and making choices, or are they just like sucking up the profits, or what's going on? I don't know. That's frustrating. I mean, when they went back to having their own Linux Plus exam and course, I really did like I like Linux Plus. It's really heartbreaking. So yeah, they push for profit. I guess that makes sense. The firm is called Thomas Bravo. Oh, that just sounds like Dude Bro Central. When the company that first bought Linux Journal, after we went out of business, and then shortly after that, we were bought by, well, it was by the company that owns private internet access, and they didn't care for me, but they were dude bros, just a bunch of dude bros, and I did not fit into their idea of what Linux Journal should be. So some of the staff, some of the writing staff got hired back. I was not one of the ones that got hired back, interestingly enough. And yeah, but Thomas Bravo just sounds right alongside that kind of a, I don't know. LPIC. I mean, I think the Linux Professional Institute is still, is it a 501(c)(3)? What is the LPI, Linux Professional Institute? Is it a nonprofit? Linux Professional Institute. I don't know this. No, not the Linux Foundation. That's different. About the LPI. Linux Professional Institute is a nonprofit organization. Okay, cool. And probably somebody answered that in the comments. Yeah, and of course you already knew, but I looked it up myself. I did my own research. That's yeah, it is a nonprofit. So I mean that's an encouraging thing. Yeah, I mean I should, oh gosh, the thing is, it's frustrating. I mean, I'm still gonna finish the Linux Plus course on YouTube because it'd be a real jerk move if I didn't. But one of the problems I have is I cannot make an LPIC course for YouTube because I only got exceptions in my contract for the already completed Linux Essentials course, which is an LPI product, and the Linux Plus course that I was making when they hired me. I'm allowed to finish that, but my contract says anything that I have created for CBT Nuggets is off limits for me to create on my own. So I could create any content that I haven't already done, but I've done LPIC courses for CBT in the past. Now, what I don't know, and this would be an interesting question that if it comes to it, I might have to ask the legal department, am I the same employee as I was back then? Or am I considered a new hire? And if so, as a new hire, I've only done Google Cloud Platform stuff. It was in my previous stint at CBT Nuggets that I did LPIC stuff. So I might have to clarify that. The issue with doing LPIC stuff, LPIC 1, perfect, great course, right? Linux Essentials course was always my most popular course at CBT Nuggets. After that, Linux Plus / LPIC 1 was the most popular. For a long time, they're the same exams. So, that was always fairly popular. Then I did LPIC 2 for CBT Nuggets, and it was wildly unpopular. And it makes sense, right? I mean, the reason that you don't see a lot of training like on YouTube or anywhere else for LPIC 2 and especially any of the LPIC 3 certifications is because the number of people who go for those certifications drastically shrinks as a bunch of people take the essentials, fewer people take LPIC 1, only a subset of those take LPIC 2, and a very small subset of those go for the LPIC 3 various certifications. So it was never going to be a thing for me to create LPIC 3 exams, even though there was a handful of people that desperately wanted me to create that content, but it just it didn't make any sense for CBT Nuggets to pay me to make those, and making those for YouTube. It's just not going to get the views. So yeah, that's a frustrating. I think something like LPIC 3 courses might be something that would have to be sold in a like in a Udemy kind of situation, something at a higher price point, just because the number of people that would want to consume it would be significantly lower. I don't know. It might be. I mean, if I was just trying to cover stuff and making content, I guess I could. Oh, this would be kind of sneaky, but I could cover all the objectives and just make them standalone YouTube videos teaching on various Linux topics. And then I could, that whole time, be creating a course without having the video titles necessarily reflect that, and then make a playlist of the videos that cover the exam objectives. I could mention in the videos, like, by the way, this also covers objective blah, blah, blah of LPIC 3. I guess that would be a way of getting around it. Because if somebody's just, they're going to avoid it if it's very clearly like, this is LPIC 3 material for certification prep. People are like, I don't want that. But if I said, if the videos were, I don't even know, advanced, what is that thing that I said I hated and you can too? It's the Red Hat. Oh gosh, I cannot think of it. SE Linux. That's what I couldn't think of. Advanced SE Linux configuration might get some hits on YouTube, but then if that was also like objective 1.2.3 of the, of LPIC 3 security cert, that would be cool too, because I'm a good teacher. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do like teaching. I do. I like teaching when I like the stuff. Because the Google stuff has been a challenge. The Urban Penguin, I like that guy, and plus he's got the cool accent too. I can't compete with the cool accent. I watched a lot of his training when I worked at CBT Nuggets the last time, partially to see okay, how would somebody else cover this topic? Not like to copy off of them, but just to get a feel for what somebody else's take on objectives. The one thing about LPI that is a little bit frustrating from the teacher standpoint is they'll have a list of things that you need to know, but they're not always clear as to what you need to know about them. And I don't know if that's the best way to put it even, but sometimes okay, but so do I show, for example, let's say it's SE Linux. They don't say how deep to go with that stuff. Is it just how to, enable and disable it, or is it how to manage your entire file system and how to make custom entries into the SE Linux database and all that stuff? They're not clear on how deep to go. And I remember that being frustrating, especially with LPIC 2. I never did LPIC 3 stuff, but the LPIC 2 stuff was really frustrating in that regard. So I watched some of his stuff to see how deep did he go, and sometimes I would follow. Sometimes his training was just didn't cover the topics. And then I reminded myself, this is just a guy, who's making YouTube videos. I mean, he's obviously intelligent, but sometimes the motivation to, spend days setting up an environment just to do a 2-minute demo on something, that juice probably wasn't worth the squeeze for him. Yeah, I never know when enough is enough, and that's yeah. And with the entry level courses like I'll pick one and Linux Plus, and especially with Linux Essentials, for some reason it's seems easier to get a feel for how deep to go. Just because, I mean, I've seen the exams a lot too, so I mean, I kind of know how deep they go in the questions, but it's just, with those, it's always just a basic usage. Like, why does the tool exist, and how would somebody interact with it, at the surface level, doing something. Whereas with those upper level courses, like there could be, SE Linux there could be an entire course on SE Linux. And yeah, it's sometimes difficult to know how deep to go. So I feel your pain there, because yeah, it's, I still get down rabbit trails sometimes when I'm teaching, even with Google Cloud stuff. Like I'll find myself, like I outline how long the skill needs to be. We need to have 45 minutes of content. Video is like minute to minute, like a minute of video counts as a minute of time in the skill. But things like text blocks count as time, but a much smaller amount of time. And like we do quiz questions in the skill, and a quiz question is worth like a certain number of seconds. So I'll outline something and have like an idea of, okay, this many topics, this should be about 45 minutes of content. But sometimes I go too deep, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I've created an hour and 40 minutes of content. And that is, and that's just a waste of my, it's a waste of my time, because we get paid per skill. We don't get paid by the minute. So I could have made 2 skills if, I have that much content. And so, yeah, it's a weird game. It's a weird dance. It's a little bit more flexible on YouTube, because obviously I can make something as long as I want, or as short as I want. And there's no, there's really no limit, other than things probably perform better at certain times, but I have no idea. And really, I don't have a lot of desire to dive deep into the YouTube best performing lengths and all that stuff. I don't find that fun. So yeah. Oh, I wonder if today is going to be like a very sleepy day for me, or if I'm just going to be hyped up all day. I'm kind of hoping for the latter, because I would like to get a bunch of work done. Because not only is it election day, but it is the end of the pay period. So any work I get done today, well, I'll get paid for in the next pay period, which will be nice. So anyway, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Talking about certification is something that I can definitely do for a long time. It's funny when we go out to Oregon, which is where the headquarters for CBT Nuggets is. I did that for years when I worked there. It was like a once a year pilgrimage. They invite all the trainers to go out, and now the whole company, since a lot of the company is remote, since the pandemic, now the time where the trainers would get flown in, also other employees get flown in. It's happening again this next May. But anyway, always one of the events is they sit down in like an interview / podcast format and just ask the trainers all kinds of questions. And invariably, the questions are almost always, are certifications worth it, worth the cost, contrast certifications versus college degrees. What is my, recommendation for job interviews? It seems like every year we get interviewed and we do the same kind of questions every time. But I don't know what else they would ask us about, really. I get it. They want to have content, and we're there locally, and makes sense. But it's like, don't you have a better looking version of me when I was like, 10 years younger that you could go to? But I digress. Oh, the other thing, my eldest has Bible study tonight, which means I will have Emmy/Dragon at like 5:30 this evening. So I will just have stuff to do all day. That's a great problem to have on an election day. So that's awesome. Dun, dun, dun. The difficulty for me is how a little paper can make me a job and so much learning than today is vomit learning. Yeah, it is very frustrating, especially because, yeah, I mean, a certification is almost just proof that you have some follow through. You know, the same thing with college degrees at this point. Because, yeah, I mean, in the real world, what are you going to do when you come up to a problem that needs to be solved? You're going to Google it to see what other people did and try to figure it out. I mean, the audacity to think that a network professional just has all the answers in their brain is just ridiculous, right? I mean, the internet is almost like our backup brain, right? I mean, it's like where we go for information that it doesn't make sense to store. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's a great way to test for that in interviews. Like, hey, how would you solve this problem? If one of the candidates said, well, I would Google that phrase, first of all, I would be like, yep, that's somebody who actually knows how to do stuff. I'm not saying that, you know, like the skills to do stuff aren't necessary, but to be able to do things without searching for answers is just ridiculous. I think the skill comes in understanding the Google results that you get. So, I mean, like I said, it's not like you don't have to know what you're doing, but yeah, I don't envy people who interview candidates these days. When I worked at the school district, I was on a lot of interview committees, and I actually really enjoyed it because I tried really hard to ask them questions that they would actually experience, you know, while they're teaching, or they would be able to answer in a way that wasn't just the correct answer, but, you know, required them to think about how they would handle a situation with students or whatever. I enjoyed that, but now I don't know. My friend Kyle Rankin, again, a Linux Journal person, he recently went through a ton of interview processes, and so he got to experience a lot of it. And he also, for years, I mean, he was a president of Purism for a long time, and so he did a lot of interviewing. And I just remember he was exasperated at a lot of the ways that he was interviewed, because he's like, this is not how you effectively find a person. But anyway, yeah. I'm that weird combination of tired but not sleepy, if that makes sense. Like, I clearly feel that I did not get a night of sleep, but also I couldn't fall asleep now if I wanted to. So it is what it is. I know on Sunday I was saying, like, hey, it's after Halloween. Now's the time to buy candy. Is it the same in Germany, where after Halloween you can go to the grocery store and get extremely cheap clearance candy? Because it's kind of been a trend of mine. Not so much when the kids were younger. I didn't like bring home bags of candy that I purchased at the store. But now that all the kids are grown and adults, the day after Halloween, I'll often go to the grocery store and grab a couple bags of candy just to last me the year. Oh, it's pretty slim pickings now, like this far on this far past Halloween, but the sales keep getting better and better. So you can get some really like leftover cruddy candy at like 75 or 80% off. So yeah, I do. I get so frustrated with the process of hiring in general, and then expectations and lack of I don't know, lack of trust. Just so many things, and the companies that filter based on college degrees. One of them being Intel. Intel will not even interview a person unless they have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter your qualifications or anything. You literally cannot get interviewed if you do not have a bachelor's degree. But the part that is so frustrating is it does not matter what that degree is in. It doesn't have to be remotely tech related. You just have to have a bachelor's degree in something. And then you are qualified to interview for a position. And, after that is when, experience and all that stuff comes into play. But it just boggles my mind that is, that's their firewall. That's their, the gatekeeper is whether or not you have a 4-year degree. Doesn't matter what one. And I mean, I can see like the slightest, like, yes, I guess it shows that a person can follow through enough to get that degree. But what a terrible metric for, if a person is going to be successful in a role. And maybe they get so many applicants that throwing away potential good hires they don't care about because, that must be the case. But yeah, I don't know. That one always bothers me though. Oh, not on candy, but on the decorations and costume stuff. Okay. Yeah, I assume that all that is on clearance too. I haven't purchased a lot of... I have not purchased costumes in a while. Every once in a while, Donna and I will have a situation where we need to dress up. Like a couple years ago, we did a trunk or treat. I don't know if that's a thing anywhere else in the world, but basically a bunch of like cars will go into a parking lot. Like sometimes it's at a grocery store, sometimes it's at a church, sometimes it's at a school or whatever, in a parking lot. And a bunch of people will take their cars and just park them in the cars, like lined up with the trunks facing out. They'll pop the trunk open, or what is it? Is the boot? Is it the boot? Because what is the hood? The bonnet? And I don't know if that's true in Germany or if that's just an England thing. Anyway, but open the trunk and then you kind of like kids go trick or treating from car to car in the parking lot. And I mean, it's less walking. It can be safe. I don't even know, but we did that a couple years ago, and we bought Ghostbuster costumes. Like the full Ghostbuster outfit with like pretend proton packs, and then my son-in-law wore the big inflatable marshmallow guy, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was like one of those inflatable costumes, and so he was that. That was fun. But I think that was the last time my family of adults dressed up. Even trick or treat is not really a thing here in some cities, but our doorbell was silent. Oh, yeah. We were not home. We were at my. I don't know if Lydia's still here. She might be. But we were at Lydia and her husband's house. They just bought their house, and they live in a neighborhood, kind of an upper class neighborhood. And that, the upper classness generally means better candy, right? It's like it's the neighborhood that gives out full size candy bars. And so that's where they live. So most of my family went to their house, and I think they took turns handing out candy to the kids that came to the door, and just a ton of families will come into the subdivision. And because it's a subdivision, all the houses are there. It's a fairly large subdivision too, so they'll just go street to street to street to street, for a couple hours, and just get like a long line of kids. I wasn't there because I was setting up the server rack in the garage at my eldest daughter's house. But oh, you heard that tale too? Yeah. I probably talked about it on Sunday because it had just happened. But nonetheless, I don't remember what we're talking about there. Oh, the trick-or-treating thing. Yeah. Oh, and here in town, like, I always expected we would get a lot, and then we just never do. So, I don't know. Oh, the full-size candy bar thing. Okay. Oh, Lewis, hello. So we have Germany and Portugal represented, and I'm not sure if anybody else is here, but that's okay. Lewis, what does Halloween look like there? Do kids trick or treat and get candy? Is that a thing in Portugal? Vote. Oh, we already voted. Yeah, my wife and I voted. Gosh, I want to say Tuesday, like last Tuesday, a week ago, Tuesday or Wednesday. Mainly because we wanted to get it done early so we didn't have to wait in line on election day. But also Donna works all day today. She has a 10-hour workday, and she doesn't get out of work until after the polls are closed, or I don't remember if the polls close at 7 or 8, but she gets done at 7:30. So yeah, we voted early. So we understood the assignment, and we already did. And now I have to try to keep myself extremely busy all day so I don't dwell on election results. I actually didn't sleep because of election day anxiety. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, yes. Oh, that plague has arrived here as well. Yeah, I was saying that I actually went to the store the day after Halloween and got a couple bags of candy because on the day after Halloween, it's 50% off. I mean, it's a huge sale. They're trying to get rid of Halloween-themed candy. And, yeah, so I have a drawer with some candy in it that will probably last me all year. There were still a couple pieces in it from last year when I did the same thing. So I'm not a huge candy eater, but I just can't resist that super cheap candy for an occasional sweet treat every now and then. But after a couple days, the pickings are pretty slim. It's just kind of gross candy that you wouldn't necessarily want. And they keep lowering the price, but I mean, I don't want gross candy. This year the kids didn't ring the doorbell. Oh, interesting. So the kids didn't ring the doorbell. That means you just have to eat all that candy that you had and you were going to give them, right? I mean, it's just the burdens of not being wasteful. Yeah. And I won't tell anybody that you turned off your outdoor light and put a sign out that said "go away," and that's why you didn't get any trick-or-treaters, or that you disabled the doorbell. I won't tell anybody. Don't worry. Oh, you don't give out candy. Oh, okay. Oh, and you don't live on the ground floor either, right? I guess that would make things more challenging. Yeah. I mean, if it's a really big, what do you call we would, obviously, I mean, you all know that we call flats apartments, and like a building full of apartments, we would call an apartment complex. What would you call an apartment complex? A flat, like if a flat is an individual apartment, like what we would call apartment, what would the building full of flats be referred to as? An apartment block? Whoa, but that's the word apartment. What is there a term for the building full of flats? It's funny because flats, so they're okay. All right. So there is a word. It's just not a word for me. So now I'm curious. I don't think there's anybody here from a English main speaking language, England and such places? Oh, it means building. Okay. Now I wonder, what is a building full of flats? And it's funny, the word flats, to my American ear, it just sounds like a flat tire. Like, oh, he's driving around on four flats. It would just be a flat tire. A flat generally would mean a flat tire. And so every time I hear flats, I just think of a flat tire. But, nobody asked. That's just, that's what the word flat kind of means. In German, it's Mehrfamilienhaus. What is Mehr? I'm familiar with German, auf Deutsch, just crunching a bunch of words together. What is Mehr? M-E-H-R. Many? Okay. Multiple family house. Okay. Ach so, I did know that. I guess I didn't recognize it being spelled out, which is funny for me. I wish I were braver about speaking other languages. I think that's why I never really got the hang of speaking Spanish. Is I was too prideful, embarrassed, worrying about offending, I don't know, to say things poorly. And I know that the only way to get better at a language is to actually just bulldoze your way through it. I might have to try again, because my son-in-law is bilingual. He speaks fluent Spanish. His mom is from Mexico. His dad is from Colombia. And so he was raised in a bilingual home, so he speaks fluent Spanish. I should really brush up on that again and just force myself to have conversations with him. Yes. Oh, Lydia is still here. I should have come and practiced with Neil. Yes, I should. And I should still. Lewis, and I cannot express enough how folks from, pretty much every other country other than the U.S. can speak other languages so well. I know that Ike and Artig and Lewis, neither one of you is English your first language, and I don't even speak proper English. I'm a sloppy English speaker, and you can very, very clearly communicate with me at my own middle school level English speaking, and I even have like wax in my teeth, so I even slur a bit, and you still understand me and communicate better than I can. So I give you lots of kudos in that regard. But yeah, I think Spanish would be the one that I would have the easiest time finding somebody to talk to, because my son-in-law and Lydia, maybe we should do that, because you need to learn Spanish as well. Because when you guys have children, I think they'll probably be expected to be bilingual. And if you don't learn Spanish, they're going to talk about you, and you won't even know. Multiple languages isn't even a Europe thing. Spanish people have trouble speaking other languages. Same for French. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Huh. And I guess that's a little encouraging. I just assumed it was largely American arrogance, and that we feel privileged. And I don't know. So I guess that's encouraging. He's a very sweet teacher. Okay, it's my worst friend. And Lydia. So I got it. Oh, you know what? Bjorn, I can Artig. That is an interesting notion. Like we do a meal, and that meal is like Spanish only. Like English is not allowed. That would be an interesting evening. It'd almost be like a game night where we have to only communicate in Spanish, and obviously Neil would be helping us along, but Yeah, that'd be neat. No, Lydia is the middle child. Lydia is our middle child. She is the most recently married. They just celebrated their first anniversary, their first wedding anniversary. They were married October of last year. Oh, I missed something. Yeah, yeah. See, I don't know. Oh, congrats for first. Yeah, that was very kind of you. And I was proud of them too. They took a vacation. They went out to, they actually drove through Canada to get to Maine and several other East Coast states. But I'm not sure how familiar either of you are with the geography of the U.S. and Canada and the East Coast there. But Michigan kind of juts up, and we have Canada all around us. To be honest, on the north and the east, and they went through Canada to get over to Maine, where they spent the bulk of their first anniversary. Hey, Scott, I'm doing well. How are you? Okay, I say I'm doing well. I didn't sleep all night because of election day anxiety, and I'm planning to keep myself extremely busy all day long so that I don't think about it during the day. I know most geography. Okay, so yeah, they drove through a large part of Canada to get to the East Coast, like New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, all those states over there is where they went. And when they got there, I don't know if it was the plan. Lydia, you can let me know. I don't know if it was their plan or if it just worked out really well. But they got to those states at the peak of the colors, like the leaves changing colors. It was just gorgeous. So they got there like at the exact perfect time, and which I'm sure was not the plan because they just went for their anniversary. It just happened to line up with when the colors were perfect. So anyway, yeah, it looked like they took some great pictures. It looked like it was fun. So the poor guys though. They got their house. There was a delay. Like the people they bought the house from had to have more time to get out of the house. So they had already paid for the house and they couldn't have possession of it for 10 days. And then when they did get possession, they only had a couple days before they left for their anniversary trip that lasted a week. And so I felt horrible for them. They had just finally gotten their house and then they leave. And then they had to leave. Oh, you did plan that. Okay, nice. You did research for months. It just happened to be that it was the perfect time that it lined up with your anniversary. Well, that's good job. I'm impressed. And it did work out well. I mean, sometimes, some years, if you get rain or wind, the colors just aren't good. But anyway, there are parts of Portugal where the best way to reach the next city is through Spain. Yeah, up north near Galicia, interior south. Yes, actually and the same thing. So for them, it was almost a straight shot, east northeast to get to that part of the U.S., but it was all through Canada, which is interesting. Yeah, and we're out of time. I got to go to Lewis. I am Walnut. Yeah, sorry that you got here so late. It was just we're just talking about election stuff, and I didn't sleep last night because of an election anxiety. But Scott, we could be on the cusp of history. I know. Yeah, I know. I know. It could be great. It's so ridiculously close. Yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with me this morning. I kind of needed the company, so I appreciate it. And yeah, we got to talk nerdy stuff. And Lewis, it's been a while since I got to chat with you. I'm glad you stopped in. And I hope everybody has a great day. Wish us luck as a country. See how it goes. We probably won't know the results for a few days. That's my guess. The states, the swing states are going to be super duper close. So they probably won't call them. It's possible we'll know something tonight, but it's not guaranteed. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. And thanks again for hanging out with me.